Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. This is a little later than we normally drop in as far as what I do with the Visionetics Institute and other services I offer. But I want to stop by and talk to you about something that's just really flowing through my mind. I'm sitting here and I'm in the office and I'm working on a number of different things. And as I move through it and I look at it and I measure it, and I constantly evaluate myself over the course of the day to see if I'm giving my all, to ask myself, is there something I could be doing different, something I should be doing better? And how can I do it better? I'm always challenging myself. And then I'm looking at it and I'm saying, am I, most importantly, maximizing my time? Am I optimizing my time for the day? I know that I have a limited amount of time every day. That never changes. What I have for that day is all that I have for that day. And I need to make sure I use it wisely. And I'm sitting up there and I'm thinking, how many people out there make one of the greatest mistakes that a person can make? What is that mistake? To make the assumption that they have more time. It's a bunch of people out there that will never achieve what they set out to achieve because they keep thinking they have more time. There are a bunch of people who have taken their gift and their purpose and their potential to the grave because they thought they had more time. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what the great Dr. Miles Monroe once said, and I've heard Les Brown often repeat it, is that the graveyard is the most wealthiest place on the planet. Why? Because you'll find books not written, businesses not started, investments not made, and inventions not created, and so many other things that really would have exploded a person into the stratosphere of their purpose, but they didn't engage it. They didn't take action. They procrastinated on it. They put it off. They waited for the perfect timing. They sit up and they meandered through the maze of mediocrity. They danced through the day and moved and took everything slow and easy going, but they never really truly understood the urgency of the moment. See, the one thing that, to me, most people say that understand the concept of time, say it's the most valuable asset that you'll ever have. I think it's the second most valuable asset. I think your mind is the most valuable asset you have, because if you unleash your mind, nothing's impossible. But next to that is time, and time is not next to that is time, but time is not only an asset, it's an enemy. And you say, well, how can it be an asset? Time is an asset because it's valuable. It's an enemy because it's relentless. It's an enemy because time doesn't stop for you. Time does not give a darn about your excuses. Time is not going to give you a break. Time is going to keep moving, and time is going to keep subtracting from the amount of it that you have to do the things that you were put on this earth to do. And the problem with most people is they keep thinking they got unlimited amounts of it. And the truth is, you don't know. I tell my wife I love her a lot. And you probably, what they got to do with it? I'm going to tell you why. I tell my wife I love her a lot. I wake up in the morning, I say, I love you. When I get in my truck and I leave for the office in the morning, I text her and say, hey, I'm pulling out. I love you. When I make it to the office, I say, I made it. I text, I made it. I love you. Whenever I talk to her, I say, I love you. Whenever we leave and go different directions, I love you. And she said, I know you love me. And I appreciate you telling me, but you tell me so much. And I said, because one day I'll no longer be able to say it. One day the I love yous will stop. And so every opportunity that I have, I want to say it. They don't always come when I'm happy and we're on the best of terms. Sometimes I'm frustrated, but they never stop. Why? Because I understand the value of the time I have with her, and none of it is guaranteed. I'm not guaranteed to see tomorrow, and the truth is, neither is she. And so you take those moments and you value them. Same thing with your purpose. The same thing with your vision. The same thing with your dream. You've got to wake up and realize that nothing is promised to you. Nothing is guaranteed. No, especially when it comes to time. You're going to have to get up. You're going to have to make something happen. Unfortunately, most people are sitting up and just letting it pass by. 86,400 seconds. Never going to change. That's what you're going to get every day. You're going to use a vast majority of it sleeping. So then what you do with the part that's left, you're going to want to spend some time and cultivate relationships in your family, your wife, your children, your siblings, your friends, your loved ones, your business relationships. But then what are you doing with that other part? That's the part where you're going to determine whether you're going to be average or whether you're going to be exceptional, extraordinary, phenomenal. It's going to be in that time where most people are coasted, where most people are just doing enough to get by. That's when you plant your seeds, you pick up and you start to invest in yourself. You start to execute with effort, execute with passion, execute with consistency. But I'm telling you something, if you don't understand the importance of waking up and making something happen. See, the one thing that is not allowed in my house, in my circle, and with myself, most importantly, excuses. If it didn't get done, it didn't get done. I don't care why it didn't get done. Fix it. And that's the way it is. I don't have excuses. I'm not, kids get up some morning like, I don't want to go to school. I was like, I go to work, you got to go to school. It's that simple. You go to work every day. Darn right. You're going to school every day. My kids literally lose their mind when I tell them I completed school without missing a day. I got perfect attendance every year. And they go, who in the world does? Somebody that actually saw something in it. Somebody that actually woke up. And no, the school system isn't perfect. No, everything I went through in school wasn't perfect, but I saw something. I looked at what was outside in the streets of my community, and I saw two ways out at the time, my mind and my body. And I worked both of them to the max. And they both contributed. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is you can't sit up and think you have all this time. The truth is you don't. The truth is that every day brings you closer to a date with destiny, where you're going to have to give an account of what you did with the life you were given. Will you be leaving a legacy that says you came, you saw, you conquered? Or will your legacy say just passed through? That's the question. I want you to really, really, really think about that. And before I go, I want to remind everybody, if you have not signed up for Epic Realm, which is a community that I created for high achievers and those who are aspiring high achievers, people who know they want to do something better with their lives. They want to take their lives to the next level. And those who are at the next level and want to go to a higher level and want to be a part of inspiring those who are coming behind them. This community is designed to create a space of positivity, a space of inspiration, a space of encouragement. Also, this is where you're going to put all your ideas on the table, and you're going to have brainstorms with people who have done it before, with people who will pour into you. This is where you come after you've lit yourself on fire to have your fans flamed. This community is off the chain. We had our first Q&A session this past Saturday. I can't wait until this coming Saturday to have another. We can have a Q&A session every Saturday where we're going to sit up and we're going to talk about what's on your mind, what's troubling you, what's going through. You're going to get the Q&A session. You're going to get free lessons on how to start a business, how to write a business plan, how to do market analysis, how to understand different elements and components of finance, understanding investment, understanding savings, understand diversity in financial investment, a whole bunch of things. We're going to do all of this as a part of the membership. You're going to get 20% off any program or service I offer, you're going to get 20% off of that as a member. This membership is an annual membership. Let me tell you something. The one thing that I think is important that most people don't get is the importance of who's in your circle. A bunch of people don't get that. They are aspiring to do something different, but they're still connected to people who have no ambition, no aspirations, no faith. And these people are going to impose their behavior, their ideas, their thoughts upon you. You're going to be the average of the people you spend the most time around, specifically the 5 people you spend the most time around. You're going to be the average of that person. That's why creating a circle is so important. My teacher used to always say, association brings about assimilation. Euripides, who the Apostle Paul quoted in the book of Corinthians, in one of his letters to the church of Corinth, in Corinth, Euripides says, "Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits." Evil company corrupts good habits. But here's the flip side of that: good company inspires good habits and reinforces good habits. It's about being around people who are headed where you're going. It's about being around like-minded people. It's about being in an environment. And see, that's something you have to construct. You have to purposely create your circle. You have to find the right people who are the right fit. You need a mentor. You need a model. You need somebody who will encourage you. You need a confidant. You need an accountability partner. You need some people that you can pour into, because that brings the balance in the circle of the law of reciprocity. And all of these things need to take place. And what I decided was I was going to help people build their circle by creating a network of nothing but people who want to win. We're not having naysayers. We're not having people who are going to sit up and whine and complain. We're not going to have those people who are professional regurgitators of why businesses fail. Yes, businesses fail. People are going to have situations where things aren't going to go the way you go. That's life. I'm telling you, I've had some unbelievable moments in my life, but I've also had some very difficult times, because that's life. You don't escape that. You don't get away from it. What you do is learn how to overcome it. How do you overcome it? You get around people who have already overcome it. You get around people who believe in you enough to speak into you, even sometimes when you don't have the energy to speak into yourself. You find people who are willing to walk alongside of you and hold you up and gird you up sometimes when you just feel like folding. You need some people who are going to fan your flames, but you need people who are going to also hold you accountable. I just got through telling you, time waits on no one. Your time is wasting. Why? You don't have time to go another year talking about what you want to do. You better make 2022 a year that you are doing it. This is 22. No more. This is the year I'm going to get in shape. No more. This is the year I'm going to start my business. No more. This is the year I'm going to get my finances in order. No, do it. Don't talk about it. Start planning it. Start taking steps. Get around people who have done it before. If you don't know how to do it, find people who do. You got to learn how to talk to yourself. You need to be around people who are successful to find out how successful people talk. They talk different than people who haven't achieved any level of success. You need to get around people who understand and know how to make money, to find out how they talk and to find out how they think. They think differently than people who have never made money. People ask me, what are some of the things that make you different when it comes to how you move as an entrepreneur? I say I check my opportunities differently. A person that has not experienced success in an area of entrepreneurship, in the area of high income earning or generating high end revenue, they think differently. See, the person who hasn't been there thinks, how much am I going to make? Any type of offer or opportunity is how much they're going to make. Me, it's how much is it going to cost me? Because see, I'm the one that's going to ultimately have to pay the price. I want to know how much it's going to cost me. And then I look at the value of how much it's going to cost me versus how much it could possibly bring me. But if I don't ask the question of how much it's going to cost me, I may look at that and say, man, I definitely need that right now. This is the time I really need it. I really need it right now. And then I make a move and it turns out to be a distraction from something greater. So That's what I want you to do. If you have not joined, click that link, sign up, and this is what I'm going to do. If you join today, I am going to give you a free rapid change breakthrough session. That is a $350 value. I'm going to give it to you. That means you will have already got 3 times the value of the membership and then all the benefits of the membership. On that note, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that I die on E. On that note, I am out of here. The problem is that people want the promise and the prize without the process. People want to have the things they see in their mind, they dream of, they envision, that they desire, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to wake up. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to deal with the fear. They don't want to deal with the possibility. They don't want to deal with the risk. They just want something to drop in your lap. It doesn't happen that way. You're going to have to make up in your mind that you're going to wake up in the morning. You're going to go out and find the opportunity that you need. And if the opportunity does not exist, you will create it. You will fight for it. You will strive for it. You will push through it. There is no such thing as an easy win in life. Stop waiting on the easy win. Stop waiting on somebody to drop your prize in your lap. Start to work the process. Start to work the plan. Start to move toward the things that you say you desire, and they will start to move towards you. Hey everybody, Dr. Rick here, dropping in on you. Hope everybody is winding down their day, having conducted a very productive day, despite challenges, because challenges is what? A part of the process, right? We talk about that. Look, I'm gonna share a story with you. Some of you have heard this story before, but I'm going to add a part that I have never added because I want to share something with you. I want to show you how things work when we talk about success. Back in the mid to late 90s, to the mid 90s on up into the mid 2000s, I ran an international relocation company, contracted out to different companies. And what I did is basically I handle the A to Z responsibilities and tasks of expatriating and repatriating high-level executives for a number of different companies, including Unical, EDS, based in Dallas, Nortel, Flora Daniels. There was some private individuals, the former conductor of the Houston Symphony. I returned him back to France. So I helped him actually repatriate back to France after years of being the conductor in Houston. I think it was like 2002. But by far, the most memorable responsibility I had was the repatriation of all of the expats for Enron when Enron collapsed. This is memorable to me, not only because of all of the storylines that it got and the workload that it produced, because I was literally working on this. This wasn't something I was outsourcing or giving. I was literally working this myself. These were huge contracts, a lot of money flowing, a lot of responsibility. So I was handling them myself, which created an unbelievable workload. But it was a learning experience for me in more ways than one. Anyway, what made it memorable wasn't the press coverage, the impact on the stock market, and all of the other things that everybody probably thinks and remembers. Remember, I'm dealing with the employees. I'm repatriating high-level executives, so 6- and 7-figure employees and their staff. I'm repatriating them. I'm bringing them back to the United States. But the difference in this and what I normally do in a repatriation, normally in a repatriation, I'm repatriating you, I'm bringing you back, I'm telling you where your new location is going to be, I'm getting you set up with a new home, I'm getting you set up with your school district. I'm doing all those things. I'm getting your household goods prepared to be delivered to your new home. I'm shipping all of your stuff that you took with you back. Some as a sea shipment, others as an air shipment. I'm handling that. Any updating of documents, depending on how long you're going. You may have to get a new driver's license, or you get your driver's license renewed, and things of that nature, as well as helping the family, the wife especially, get reacclimated, because normally these were executives were men. Every now and then that would be a woman, but predominantly men. So the difference is, normally that's what I'm doing. In this instance, I'm repatriating them back to severance. They are being terminated, laid off, whatever the term you want to use. But they're coming home to the fact that they no longer have this cushy job that some of them had for years. And anyway, I'm coming back. So in this process, you're given everything they need to know. If they're repatriating to a new position, you give them the position, you give them the salary, you give them the allowances they have. Some of them have car allowances, housing allowances, even housekeeping allowances. But in this instance, I'm repatriating them, and I'm telling them what their severance package is. And you obviously, as you can imagine, you've got a lot of somberness going on. You got a lot of people who are devastated. None more devastating than a lady, I'm obviously not going to call her name, but an older white lady who was this close to retiring. And you might think, well, if she was that close to retiring, no big deal. She was. Here's the problem. Because Enron was falsifying their earnings statements, they had employees that were heavily invested in Enron stock. In fact, that they were emptying their 401ks to invest in it. This woman had worked for the company for nearly 30 years. She was about to retire. She was expecting to have a nest egg over $1 million. Instead, she retired to debt. Not retired, forced to retire. She was forcibly retired to debt in her 60s. And, not marketable at that point. Nobody wants to hire a 60-year-old. And then even if somebody hires her, you got to work how long before you can get your bearings? Probably the rest of your life. Now, me personally, I don't have a problem with working the rest of my life, but I don't want me working the rest of my life to be because I have no choice, because if I don't, I'll starve or I'll be homeless. And I've told you this part of the story before, but there was another black young brother, probably late 20s, early 30s. And he was an IT guy. So when he came back, they needed him to stay on for a year. And so we kind of connected. And we talked, and so we sort of kind of connected, and he realized some of the things I did outside of international relocation. He looked at me and said, "Man, how are you doing it all?" I say, you find a way to do the things that you're passionate about and the things you feel you need to do so that you're prepared for the future. He said, "Talk to me about it more." And so we would have these meetings, and eventually he stood up and said, "Man, I got a year left where I'm going to have a salary with Enron until we end up scaling down and totally shutting everything down. And I'll be one of the last employees they let go, but eventually I'm going to have to do this over. I don't want to go to another company and do this again and risk doing this all over again." Luckily, I'm not one of the people who is in their 50s and their 60s and having to try to figure out what they're going to do. I'm young enough now to where I've got a do-over in me. But I don't want to do it again. At least not working my butt off for someone else. Now, if I'm forced to start over for myself, that's a different story. I just wash and repeat and do it until I get it right. And he says, "But I don't know where to start." I say, "Hey, let's sit down." And over the next year, I worked with this brother, taught him the game, showed him the game, and more importantly than showing him the ins and outs of business and all that other stuff, what I did is I taught him the mind game, because the mind game is the most powerful thing. Psychology is 80% of success.
how you see the world through your mind, how you visualize the world through your mind, how you see yourself from your mind is 80% of it. If you get the psychology right, you can be wrong in the plan. You can be wrong in the strategy, but you're going to get there because the mindset won't let you fold. The mindset is seeking answers while you're moving through the difficult times. The mindset is sitting up and saying, what's next? How do we do this? Shouldn't have done that. Keep going. And so what I did is I worked with him and we got the mindset down. The brother is still doing his thing. He still got everything going on. Man, that was 2003, I want to say. Something like 2003 or 2004. Nope, definitely wasn't 2004. So it was either in 2002 or 2003. I can't remember right now the exact, but for a year I worked with him. And man, the dude is, laced. He's great. He's doing fine. Never had to hold another job down. Nothing against holding jobs, but when you set your mind to say, this is what I want to do and I don't want to be dependent upon another person to provide me with my income, and you set your mind to do it and then you set out and you do it. I'm not telling you it was easy for him all the time. I'm not telling you that it's always been easy for me. It's been some trying times. And if you're pushing yourself, there's never this time where it's just so easy and laid back because you're not settling. And if you're not settling, you're pushing yourself, and you're pushing yourself, you're at a place of discomfort. I tell people all the time that one of the things that makes me successful is I've gotten comfortable with being uncomfortable. And matter of fact, when I find myself being too comfortable, and nothing seems to be tugging, there's no resistance, there's no pushback, there's no adversity, there's no obstacle, I start to wonder what's going on. Am I challenging myself enough? Am I pushing myself to go in the right direction? What's the situation? Because I understand that resistance that so many people fight with all effort to avoid is the very thing that creates the momentum for growth, that creates the force and the necessity of growth. You can't gain ground, you can't grow if you don't have something that's pushing against you. That's what creates the force that basically demands that you get stronger mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and yes, physically. Why am I sharing this story with you? Because I want to tell you something. The people that I brought back, that woman wasn't the only one. There were a bunch that were devastated, but she was definitely devastated the most. She lost the most in the sense of where she was. She didn't lose the most money-wise, but she lost the most in value. That $1 million to her was probably worth the $5 million some of the others lost. Because number one is she was at an age where she really didn't have, any idea what she was going to do in the future. She's retirement age. Finding another job that was going to have any longevity and any real true bite to it. Go get a job at Walmart that wasn't going to cover her expenses. She wasn't living a Walmart type life. So she was in that situation. Now there were other people who lost more, but they were going to be able to recover because number one, they were probably younger. They had skill sets that kind of dealt with money. They could go off and maybe play the stock market or create or start their own business. It was so many other things. She didn't have that skill set. She didn't plan for that. She planned on retiring from a company. She was working from the old model of go to a company, find a good job, stick with that job, show that job loyalty, don't quit, be there for 30 years, retire, get your pension, and walk away and live off of your pension. But truth is, who can really live off your pension? Some people survive off of a pension. Very few people live off of a pension. The amount of money you would have had to make in order to have a pension that you can live off of means that you made enough money that if you played the game right, you're not living off the pension anyway. So why am I telling this story? Because there are so many people out there right now that think they're safe. For whatever reason, it may not be the same reason, but for whatever reason, they think they're safe. They think that everything's good. Just wake up every day and go to work. The problem is the thing that you're messing with isn't yours. It belongs to someone else. Maybe they're handling it right. Maybe they mean you well. Maybe they'll do right by you. Maybe even they may have intentions to do right, but something goes wrong. What is your next play? Don't wait on life to deal you a hand that forces you to take action. I tell people all the time, sometimes you make a move and you jump. Other times you refuse to move and you're pushed. What you don't want is to be pushed and have to figure that out. Can you do it? Absolutely can. You can absolutely do it, but that's not the position you want to be doing it from. You want to be doing it from a position of where you've taken action, you've taken the initiative, you're in control of the start. And that way you set the direction. You're in a point of action instead of recovery. Can you recover? Absolutely. I can show you how to do that if you're in that situation. But I would rather show you how to take action to better your position, to leverage who you are in this world, to leverage your value. Because if someone is paying you, especially if someone's paying you decent to good, that means you have value. You have a skill set. That's something valuable about you. The people that are paying them will pay you. You have to know how to present yourself. You have to market yourself. You know how to set yourself up. But I tell people all the time, if they're paying you 6 figures, how much do you think you're making them? Now, they may have the scalability to leverage your skill at a way that can make them more money using you than you can make yourself. But I guarantee you, you can make at least and better than what you're being paid on your own. And it's yours. Yeah, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to get out there. There are going to be some Saturdays and some Sundays when you're getting started. There are going to be some 10 and 12 and 14-hour days at least. That's a part of the grind. That's a part of the investment. That's a part of the effort that shows God, that shows the world, that reveals to life itself that you're committed to having what you say you want. And that's the thing. Wishing for it, praying for it, all of that stuff has its place. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to get out. You're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to actually take action. You're going to have to actually initiate something. You don't want life to initiate it for you. You want to be the one in control. I absolutely love doing what I'm doing. And when I worked with this person that I told you about, we actually became cool, we became friends. We started to go out, hang out, and connect. And we became cool. And to watch the joy that this person experienced as their life changed. Now, this is a person that made 6 figures. So this wasn't a person that was sitting around saying, man, I'm struggling and I really need. See, struggling is a motivator in and of itself. You know, eventually you ought to be tired of struggling. If you're not making enough money to where everything's squared away and you're good and you have money set aside and you have money invested in other things, you got some passive income, that should be a sense of urgency about everything you do. If you don't have passive income, if you don't have stuff coming in from stuff that you've already created, that's one. You need a sense of urgency. If you don't have enough money set aside to live, that should be a sense of urgency. You should be waking up with a sense of, man, I got to get it today. I got to do something different. I got to do something better. But for those of you who are out there and living and you're getting paid good money, 6 figures, whatever you want to call good money. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to belittle what anybody makes, because if you go out and you make it and you earn it, you're doing something. And I don't want to ever take that away, but I want to tell you it's more out there. And I'm not just talking about money. There's a level of fulfillment that comes with knowing you're doing something that most people aren't doing, or you're doing something that most people thought you couldn't do. Or at some point in time, you maybe even felt like you couldn't do it. And now you're doing it. And I'm telling you, it's possible. I'm telling you that it's absolutely doable. And so what I want you to do is really and truly think about that. I want to work with those of you who are serious. I mean serious, because what I'm talking about doing is going to take commitment. It's going to take time. But I'm talking about doing something exceptional with where you are today. And I'm talking about getting it done in 2022. I'm not talking about, hey, look, man, look, 5 years from now, I'm talking about 2022, your life can change. I mean, change for the better and change forever. Doesn't mean that you're not going to face adversity down the line. It just means that you're going to be better prepared to deal with it. And I want to work with you. Also, everybody out there, I don't care where you're at, you should want to be a part of the Epic Realm community of high achievers. This is an environment. It's not just a community, it's an environment that I've created for people to come together and encourage one another, to fan each other's flames, to share knowledge, to put their concerns and their ideas and their thoughts on the table, and to have conversations and dialogues about what's possible, to brainstorm. Everybody is out there. Nobody's left behind. Nobody's on an island. Nobody's left alone. And another thing it will allow you to do is to build a community of people that will also allow you to build your circle. Building the right circle is of the utmost importance, and so many people miss that. Some people make it so difficult because of simply not having the right people around them. We want to set all that up. We want to create programs in this community that are designed only for members, that are for members, that are at no cost to members. And these are going to go monthly. Every week. We had our first Q&A session Saturday. It wasn't as many people as I like, but the people that were there shared. They posed their questions, but they also offered answers and advice, and it was great. Of course, I gave my 2 cents, and I think it was great. I know a couple of people reported back to the group on the platform that we use and talked about how much they were helped. And we're going to continue to do this for every Saturday, unless something happens, and you'll be notified if something gets pushed off to another day. But on Saturdays, we're going to do these Q&As, and then we're going to have these courses each month. Everything from finance to entrepreneurship and how to start a business, how to write a business plan. We're going to deal with mental health. We're going to have a breakout room solely for mental health, because I'm telling you, the strain of going after it isn't easy. People talk about the grind, but they don't talk about the cost. See, grinding like that is a mental strain. It's an emotional strain. You're giving everything you got every day. It takes its toll, and nobody wants to talk about that. But we're going to talk about ways that you can mitigate the pressure that comes with going for the goal, aiming for the fence. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to show you ways that you can manage that you become mentally and emotionally stronger. This is going to be a holistic experience. So I want you to be a part of that holistic experience. And with that being said, I'm going to get off of here. The link to connect with me and work with me one-on-one in the Savage in 6 program. This is just a 6-week program. Oh, but it's intense. The Savage in 6 program, for those of you who are seriously ready to jump off into something, the Savage in 6 program, that link is in there. Also, for those of you who understand the importance of community, the importance of having a good winning circle, that link is also in there. So I encourage you to join. Everybody should join the community, because it's a no-lose situation. You're coming in and you are meeting with people, and we want only people who are coming in with a positive mindset and a winning mindset, or wanting to develop a winning mindset. This is not a place for naysayers and the pessimists to come hang out. You will not be welcome, and you will be dismissed. But on that note, it's time to make some things happen. It's time. I hope that you get, if you get nothing else today, I hope from what I've shared over the course of the day that you only get this shot of life one time, and it's fleeting, it's passing, and as time passes, you don't get to recover it. So the actions that you take are immensely important. So I'm hoping that I'm encouraging you to take massive action and to get some things done. On that note, I'm about to check out of here. I got to run back in the office. I had to go pick up my no, she's 17 now. God, they're going up. My 17-year-old, drop her off at home, and then I changed back to the office for a couple of hours. And then I'll head home for the day. But look, it's time to make your move. On that note, I'm out of here, you guys. Station.